by golly, we're back again. And it's Friday, and we're gonna, guess what? We get to finish off chapter 4 today. Yes, we do. Okay, where did we leave off? Oh yeah, they're getting ready to head up to High Meadow, and it's 45-degree angle, and they've been told that they need to all help each other. And Ella and Paul and Ralph have, of course, said that they would. Now they're waiting because Thomas did not answer. Finally, Thomas, who is very surprised, speaks, "What? You want me to say something? I'm the one who has been a team player all along." Bruce walks over to Thomas and just stands there in a friendly, fatherly way, smiling at Thomas. They look at each other eye to eye. Well, almost. Thomas is tall. Doesn't take long, and Thomas reluctantly says, "Yes, sir. I am willing to help whoever will need my help." With that said, Bruce takes the lead of Champ and calls out in his former voice, "Thomas, I need you to be the caboose. You need to be sure no one gets left behind. Understood?" Thomas quickly responds, "Yes, sir." Then Bruce and Champ head up the hill. Bruce was right. The hill becomes a steep mountain very quickly. Champ takes it at his own speed. Bruce tosses the lead rope across the supply pack and allows Champ the space to go at his own pace. Interestingly enough, Bruce is not far behind Champ as they are running up and out of sight. That puts Ella and Paul in the lead. Ella, as she is hiking, nervously keeps saying, "Just follow the fence line and won't get lost. Just follow the fence line, we won't get lost." Ella struggles quite a bit on that sandy, rocky trail that is full of little sticker plants and bushes and extremely uphill. She is frequently falling. Thomas mutters under his breath. He jeers at her efforts, muttering, "I told you so, she can't do it." Ralph is right there, doing as Charlie had directed, capturing Thomas's reactions to Ella and her plight. Paul is right with Ella every step of the way. Even with his heavy backpack and camera, she's easy to pace. "We can do this," he encourages her, whenever she slips or loses balance and falls to the rocky ground. He reaches to help her as he can, mostly just giving encouragement because that's all Charlie made him promise to do. Don't help her, just encourage her. Okay, so Charlie is wanting this challenge to change their hearts about each other. So the tough climb continues. Even Ralph is working hard to hold his own with all the gear on his shoulders and his heavy backpack. The uphill climb is easy for long-legged Thomas, so he has to slow down his pace, which is a bit annoying for him. He blames Ella for the time wasted, yet never reaches out to help her to get up when she's fallen down or to find a safe path. Nope, he doesn't do that. It becomes more and more rocky as they climb. Ella is slowly slowing down more and more. She is picking and choosing and trying to find a path to climb around those rocks and bushes and yet stay close to the fence line. Paul is careful to check and be sure Ella isn't limping. He's watching for signs of her blisters to return. So far, so good. Although Thomas is irritated at her slow pace, he holds his breath and doesn't say a word. After all, he promised Bruce he would be helpful. He figures that not saying anything is a way of being helpful. Ralph is very disappointed with Thomas, thinking, surely his heart will soften. This is a rough terrain for that little bit of a sister of his that he's just watching. Hour after hour. No, sorry, we're not there yet. After about an hour, Ella turns and looks at Thomas and pleadingly says, "May I have a bit of a rest?" Ralph and Paul quickly look at Thomas with anticipation. Thomas stands tall and replies, "Well, I guess that's what you need, so we'd best be stopping. Only 10 minutes, mind you." Ella gratefully agrees and finds herself a boulder to sit on. She sighs, relaxes a bit, watching the beautiful blue sky and white clouds. Not talking, just enjoying the many shapes of those white fluffy clouds and the song of the trees are singing to her. She smiles as she sees a puppy dog cloud. He's sitting on a flying carpet with his fluffy ears blowing in the wind. Big billowing clouds roll by and she finds more shapes to see, like a cat with his long tail sticking high up into the sky. Beautiful blue sky. And that cat is jumping from cloud to cloud. Ella savors her rest time as she watches those lovely white clouds. The researcher side of Thomas kicks in and he is vigilant about the 10 minutes. At the exact moment he stands up and lets Ella know it's time to get moving on. She willingly gives up and goes right to the place of fence line where Thomas tells her to go. Then onward and upward they slowly go. Thomas stands and waits for her to move on, muttering at her slow efforts, yet not offering a bit of physical help. Ever so slowly, Ella works her way up the mountain trail, slipping to her hands and knees occasionally. Paul is right there the best he can with all his equipment, a large backpack that he's hindering his climb too. Thomas merely watches, not offering to help. Again, just keeping quiet. He figures that is his best way to help. As Ella is climbing, she gets tired more easily. She falls more frequently. She balances ever so carefully each step over or around the scattered rocks and bushes. Those rocks have been larger and even more as they climb. She tries not to ask for a rest, yet her body is screaming at her for a rest. She looks over her shoulder and again requests a rest time. Thomas, with a smirk on his face, nods his head. He knew she couldn't do this. Ella sinks down right where she is and leans against the post for support. She sighs, looks at Thomas with tenderness, and sighs again as she looks heavenward to watch the billowing clouds and rest. After climbing for what seems like all day and resting as needed, they are surprised when they catch up with Bruce and Champ, who are waiting. Bruce greets them and congratulates them on the reasonable time they took to catch up. However, he says solemnly, this is the outcropping, a patch of slate that is extremely loose and filled with pieces of shale, too hard for the horse to go up. It's as long and wide as a football field. Well, actually, it's pear-shaped, as you can see. Anyway, you get the picture. I will need to go through the forest with Champ and meet you at the top of the outcropping. You camera boys, you'll need to use the forest path along the edge of the slate to save your equipment. I know, that puts you away from the subjects of your job. Just use those zoom lenses on your cameras. You can still do your job. This is serious. Don't balk. He continues his commanding former voice style. Thomas, you are in charge of helping Ella get up that outcropping of slate. Stay close to the fence post. Help each other. Those fence posts are there to help you get up safely, rather than fighting the slate out in the center. It is dangerous. Don't go straight up the pathway don't stray from the pathway along the fence. You will fail without those posts. Bruce then seriously looks at Thomas and with a tender voice says, Thomas, you will need those leather gloves you brought. Ella, Maria was kind of sure you would not have packed any leather gloves, so she sent hers for you to use. Bruce gently hands Ella the gloves. Ella takes the gloves without even looking at Bruce. She's staring at that slate mountain. Oh, where'd I go? Bruce continues with his instructions. Okay. Oh, remember, Only the top wire is barbed. Be careful not to touch it. The cables on the other 3 layers are there to help you. Use them carefully. Bruce looks at Thomas, then Ella, assessing their reactions, and then continues. You won't need those backpacks of yours for this part of the climb. They would only get in your way. Let me put them on Champ. He'll do fine with that little bit of extra weight. They are all standing there, awestruck, seeing that big slab of broken slate in front of them, threatening them, plus hearing the serious tone of Bruce's voice ringing in their ears. It is ominous. Even Ralph and Paul are struck to the heart. Paul is wondering how Ella will ever make it. Thomas and Ella gingerly take off their backpacks, looking at that large slab of broken slate as they do. Thomas mechanically gets out his gloves as he stares at the mountain before him. They hand the backpacks to Bruce. As though in a trance, they look up the mountain of slate again. Wow. Bruce quickly ties the backpacks on Champ, 1 to each side. All of them are ripe with questions. Bruce stops them in their tracks. As he is securing the backpacks, he says, no time to talk about it. We need to get to High Meadow before dark. There's a storm coming on. I can smell it. Time is important on this leg of the trek. You boys follow me on over to that trail by the forest. Then I'll show you which way to go. Champ and I will have to go deeper into the forest to find a safe pathway up. He turns to Thomas and Ella and earnestly says, you two wait until the boys are in position. We'll give you a signal. Then you begin the climb. Do you understand? They both nod in agreement with the question in their eyes. Bruce senses their need to know and seriously says, okay, just so all of you know, the answer is yes. Charlie knew about this. He chose the perimeter for a purpose, so deal with it. I'm heading out. Bruce checks to be sure the backpacks are safe and secure on Champ. Then he heads out and calls for the boys to follow him. He leads them across a small sliver of meadow area at the base of the outcropping toward the forest. A few rabbits hop quickly out of their way as they pass by. Thomas and Ella just stand there in wonderment, watching their new friends and faithful Bruce walk away from them. And that is, that's the end of this chapter. So we're gonna call it quits for today. Get marked up and ready for us to begin on Monday. And I trust you're gonna have a lovely weekend. I'm sure you have some family plans to do with your family. After all, family is important, and that's one of the reasons we're on this earth, to learn how to be together as families and do fun things as well as good, hardworking. Yep, the Lord told us right in the scriptures, you'll work for your bread. Right. Well, it's time to say bye-bye. I do appreciate that you stuck around. And we ended chapter 4. And we're going to start, let's see, I think it's 5. Yep, we start chapter 5 coming up on Monday. So, bye-bye now. Thanks for going forth this weekend and doing what Jesus would do with your family and your friends, with kindness and love in your heart. Bye-bye from Grama Jean.